In 1000 hours of playing Project Zomboid, I have never been in Louisville. So I set zombie population to normal with 1 year peak on insane, and I will try to live here for a year, and then escape through a military checkpoint. This is 1 year in Louisville, days 31 to 60. Starting off with day 31 and 32, which were focused around crafting, I finally got to finish wall on the other side of my base, and carpentry marks the first skill at max level. Also, I tried a bit of foraging, but got bored of it pretty quickly and decided to come back to it at later date. Rest of this and next day I focused on carving. I've got to level 6 and finished day 32 with reading volume 4, covering levels 7 to 8. Day 33 started with knocking down another 2 quick levels in carving. At this point I knew it was a bit late to start growing crops in this season, but decided to search for seeds and start working on my garden regardless of it. First point of interest, tons of green. And being closer to a town center means bigger groups of zombies. At this point I realized 3 things. First, I have a smooth brain. 2, my weapon will fall apart in few hits. 3, I had access in trunk of my car, but with current level of fitness and strength I would get out of breath really quick. After luring zombies away, I grabbed whatever I could from a car, and both weapons broke down pretty quickly. And I was in a bit of a pickle. I had to lure this group away. I've managed to lose the bigger group around the houses and get back to my car and drive away in shame. Only to come back for round 2 with emotional support crowbar. Okay, enough of the silliness. I got level and nimble, toughness and maintenance, but just had way too much fun at it in this, so I cut them out. Anyway, I got exactly what I came for. Bunch of seeds and some gardening equipment, and it was time to go back to the base and hit the bed. But before that, quickly carving volume 5. On day 34, search for seeds continue. I found this huge warehouse and I spent here whole day. And even after that I was able to loot only a fraction of it, so I just marked it on the map and decided to come back here at later date. After waking up I knocked down last 2 levels in carving, making it second skill to reach max level. It was finally time to start prepping my garden, and while I could take soil from around my base, I wanted to keep grass, so instead I took it from the golf course. And this time nobody showed up to complain. I think I made a strong point with my axe last time. So yeah, there you have it, 3 days of moving soil to my base. Added floodlights so I could work a bit longer in the dark, digging furrows, and planting every seed I had. Some of it will probably die before winter, but for now it's still worth a shot and it will have to do. In the future I plan to expand the garden and cover entire parking lot with it. At end of day 37 I made some fire hardened spears for later. In part 1 I mentioned I will try to do something about how weak my character feels. Day 38 marks the beginning of it by doing some exercises, twice a day for 20 minutes. Later I cut it down to once a day because it was causing too much muscle strain. Started putting on spiky traps around my base, and I got myself a new car. On day 39, after doing my morning exercises, I went outside only to be met by a group of vandals that destroyed my fence. Justice was swift and fair. I was also gonna look for one more car, but muscle strain kicked in, so I decided to add one more scratch to my collection. God damn it. The rest of that day went by fixing a fence and installing more spiked barricades. Day 40 and 41 were dedicated to building more barricades, and because they used 2 planks and 4 rugs, I had to kill a few more zombies. And I finally gave up and installed the mod Keep Wood on the Ground. With base fully secured, moving on. On day 42 I had an answer to ultimate question of life, universe and everything. Rabbits. Plan was simple. I was gonna build a bunch of crate traps, which took rest of that evening. So I had to wait for the following day to install them and forage for carrots or whatever the hell my future meals are eating. Later that evening, after being yet again bored of foraging, I decided to make some short bats, as I never used them before, and while at it, I made some metal bat spiked with bolts and nuts. I'm sure it's gonna be fun. And obviously, I had to give it a try. Okay, to sum things up, short bat, nice damage, but lacks ability to do multi-hit. Metal bat, good damage, but swinging it makes my character too exhausted way too fast, which is a big problem that I already know how to solve, but those plans gonna have to wait at least 30 more days. But for now, moving on. On day 44 I started to think about my rabbits again. I even prepare room for them so they can do their business. So here's the problem. I had another smooth brain moment. I totally forgot about those traps for about 20 days, only remembered when editing this video. After this, I went back to this big warehouse from a few days back and looted everything I found useful. Which brings us to day 45. As I knew I wanted to keep some livestock, went out looking for animal food. Perfect Barker pet supplies was my choice, as it was just around the corner from my base. But I didn't have what I was looking for, only cat and dog food. And when I think about it, it kinda makes sense. Livestock, animals, are not pets. So yeah, day wasted. Only thing left was to sit down on the roof of my base, read some books, and think what to do next. Okay, so here's what I came up with. Since there are some farms still within Louisville exclusion zone, I would take a van and look for animal trailer so I could transport some livestock back to my base. I found some chickens, and I took all their food. Found a cow, well at least I think so. I wasn't brave enough to check. And for the very first time I've seen bacon in its natural habitat, but no animal trailer. It was getting pretty late and I didn't want to drive all the way back, so I stopped at this farm, killed a few zombies and called it a day. On day 46, after failing to find a trailer, I decided to perform Grand Theft Chicken, and since I could only grab one at a time, I grabbed the first cock I've seen. Yeah, alright, now I can hear it. I drove all the way back with Rooster in my hands. After arriving and dropping him in the room I made for my imaginary rabbits, I decided to build them a pen on the side of my converted car park. I don't always mention this stuff, but I also hit level 8 in maintenance, so it was time for a final book. Next day, since I could only grab one at a time, I had to perform the same drive twice to get 2 female chickens, so you know, they can do a chicken stuff. Finally, after having my future source of fresh eggs and meat secured, I grabbed a spear and went for a little run around the neighborhood. On my way back, oh my god. Sledgehammer was laying on the ground next to my base. I just grabbed it and ran back home. On day 48, I started working on my electrical skills so I could pick up an oven and start having better meals. Okay, there was an elephant in the room. I didn't want to address it, but here it is. Ever since I moved into this base, I've been dumping all my loot into random crates. My punishment? I spent 4 in-game days. That translates to 3 hours of my life. Just moving items between the boxes and sorting them out. Yay! And, thanks to magic of editing, you don't have to experience any of it. After 2 PM on day 52 I was finally able to leave my base. I went back to the houses I looted before in search for kitchen towels and cleaning equipment that I needed to clean my chicken pen. Yay! After performing what I was hoping for, last chore of that day, I was rewarded with some fresh eggs. Some of them were fertilized, but hey, more protein, right? I didn't think of it at that time, but I could probably boil them over the campfire I have going on my roof, but instead, I proceed to microwave them. Yeah. I needed only one more level until I can pick up an oven, so I grabbed Electrical Volume 2, because this game makes a lot of sense sometimes, right? And that finally brings us to day 53. I had a plan to scout west side of a town for a good fishing location. But I quickly come to a realization, with this visibility, or rather lack of it, I will die. But thankfully I came to my senses and decided to admire today's vibes from safety of my base, reading skill books I have not started yet, and doing some exercises. On day 54 it was still raining a little, but it cleared enough that I decided to explore mansions by the river and look for potential fishing outpost. After arriving there were few zombies around, so I took my spear with intent to level up a bit. However, after a while I've noticed I'm getting almost no XP thanks to muscle strain and pain. Not wanting to waste my spears, I went back to my base to grab a baseball bat. I've continued killing them for a little longer. But ultimately muscle strain and pain was too much and I gave up for a day and head back home. After returning fresh and rested on day 55, I started to clear a parking lot in front of a small store. I found some extra food on the shelves, not much though, so I moved on to the other side of the street to clear a gas station. Same story here, there was some extra food, but not a lot. But I found the arcade machine. Side note, I would love to have one of them at home. After confirming that my closest surroundings are clear, I did a little test run with fishing. I've got it to level 2, and then I proceed to fish for the rest of the day, without realizing I need to read another skill book. God damn it. Next day, on my way to a fishing spot, I've noticed that my car attracted some zombies that gather closer and closer to my base. Not many, but I'd rather deal with them now than later. And then it was back to fishing for the rest of the day. And I still did not realize I have not read another skill book. Yeah. Day 57, even more fishing. Now, let me explain exactly what is the plan and what I'm doing. As I mentioned before, my character doesn't feel strong in combat right now, so I had this idea. I would prepare loads of high calorie food and power level my strength from level 7 to 8 and my fitness from level 5 to level 7, because right now it's at level 5. Doing that would increase my combat efficiency by a lot. And right now there are some areas of Louisville that I'm actively avoiding because I just know how many zombies are there. I mean, after all, how long could it take, right? And I'm pretty sure I will not regret this at any point. Yeah, anyway, today game received an update, and things got a bit weird. After thinking for a while what to do, I just loaded the game in the debug mode and fixed the car position. Thankfully it happened only once. And the rest of that day, going back and forth between fishing spot and my base, because I forgot the fishing line, because my line snapped, and then I forgot the hook, and then I forgot something else. Told you, smooth brain. Oh, and I almost died. Yeah, there's that. Day 58, I finally realized I forgot to read Fishing Volume 2, so I fixed that. And after this I decided to spend the rest of this day at base. Yeah, it was basically a day of maintenance. I had to fix the generator a bit, I've added some more water collectors and plugged the second sink. And the rest of this day went by leveling Tailoring. I wish day 59 was more exciting, but my weight dropped to 76 and I had some books to read. I have no idea when that even happened, but I already had level 8 in foraging, so I knocked down volume 5 while stuffing myself with chocolate. Followed up by Tailoring volume 2 and even more sweets. And cooking volume 3. And most likely diabetes at this point. And that finally brings us to day 60. Started with quick round of fishing and got it to level 4. At this point, honestly, I started to get a bit tired of driving back and forth all the time, and I started to think about turning few of those houses into the proper fishing outpost, you know, so I can come here, stay as long as I need, sleep, eat, do whatever, without having to go back to my base. I started looking around for a new car, because my Red Franklin engine is starting to give up slowly, and I have no idea why. I was looking for a van, but unfortunately I didn't find one in good condition, so instead I headed back to the base to read Fishing Volume 3. Okay, it's this time again, time for a few words. First of all, part 3 will most likely cover more days. Anything between 40 and 60 days, as there will be more stuff I will be doing that can be compressed by a lot. And it will take a bit longer to edit, at least 2 weeks, so yeah, expect that. With all that said, thanks for watching, hopefully I will see you in part 3, and have a wonderful time!